So, Dr. David Malone, my first question is, in your latest book, there's no single recipe for the ideas of development, since each nation of the world is varied. How can we tackle this diverse in preparing for the development framework?
I think we are slowly making a mental shift in thinking about development. For a very long time, we thought of countries as economies in connection with development. So we wanted to support efforts to make the economy work. But in doing so, we missed the reality that most countries have unique societies. No two societies are exactly alike. So we didn't allow really for the diversity of the developing world, and that was a major problem. I think in the one-size-fits-all approach to development, that some international institutions, some aid programs, some governments, some NGOs also took to development. I think we're probably still not nearly wise enough, but I think we're smarter about identifying or at least recognizing the need to identify what makes a society unique. Japan has a unique society. We all recognize that from the outside and when we're fortunate enough to live in Japan. But somehow we expect developing countries to be all alike, and of course they are.
My second question. Will you explain us the key agenda for the post-2015 development framework under this ongoing change of the world?
Great. Well, we meet at a time of considerable excitement, but also confusion about development. We're confused because development is occurring all around us. And for a very long time, the development community preferred to focus on failure, which required development interventions, than on success, which may not require development interventions from outside. So now we cannot avoid recognizing significant success in Asia, notably the great success in China and in India in reducing the number of ultra-poor. There are still many of them, but the rate of reduction is unique in the history of the human race. 10 to 15 years of sustained fast growth in Africa, that's new, and growth, although less fast, and stability in virtually all of Latin America. This is new and very good news, but confusing for the development community, which considers that its advice and interventions are vital to much of the world. The 2015, the post-2015 development framework will be different from, say, the first generation of Millennium Development Goals insofar as it will aim to apply to all countries, poor, middle-income countries, and industrialized countries also. We all have development goals to reach. In Canada, we could be doing much better, my country, in a number of areas. We should be aware of it. Rather than thinking that we are fabulous, we need to think about how much more fabulous we could be if we worked a bit harder at it. So everybody will share the goals. That's very positive. Secondly, we are beginning to be more concerned about issues of quality rather than simply quantity. We used to look at growth figures, GDP figures, literacy figures, and if we saw them going up, we were happy. And indeed, we should be happy. But we realize that just getting a bunch of kids into school is not equivalent to a high-quality education. The quality of what is taught in schools, how it is taught, how it reaches children, is very important once you get the children into school. Healthcare. You can create clinics in rural areas. It's very important to have clinics in rural areas. But what can you offer to members of the public from these clinics? That's a big shift in the last 15 years. We're now much more worried about the quality of public services in health, in education, to publics in all of our countries. We used to think quality was the luxury of being rich, a rich country. But now the developing countries understand and want better quality in these areas themselves, because inequality globally in many ways is not being reduced as fast as it should be reduced. One area where we see that is, for example, universities, higher education. The gap in quality is growing in many ways between the best universities and the next lot. And so these are all problems that developing countries should be worrying about and are worrying about.
My third question. What do you think is JICA Research Institute's role in this agenda, like for post-2015? And can you think of any collaboration between JICA RI or JICA and university, UNU, your organization?
Well, first I should explain what the UN University is. Most people have never heard of it. We are an agency of the UN at arm's length. We have complete autonomy in terms of academic freedom. But we are really a confederation of 15 research centers in 15 different countries at the moment. These all focus on aspects of the interests of developing countries. So a great deal of the programming that goes on in UNU, including here in our institute in Japan, the Institute of Advanced Study of Sustainability, is directly relevant to JICA. And now and then, JICA, very happily for us, supports one of our programs. I'll give you an example. We are helping 8 African universities, they are doing it themselves, create master's programs in sustainability. This was the brainchild of a wonderful Kenyan doctoral student in Japan and his great Japanese professor. This was their project, but they convinced 8 African vice-rectors of universities that this was important. It's going ahead. It's going ahead with money from the African Development Bank, a bit from the Asian Development Bank, very strong support from JICA, for which we're really grateful. On the research front, I think there should be constant interaction between the JICA Research Institute, which rightly deserves an excellent reputation, and UNU. The truth is, the JICA Research Institute on development issues has more strength than we do in Japan. Our Research Institute on Development Economics is in Finland. Our Research Institute on the Economics of Innovation is in Maastricht. So they're a long way away and would welcome, of course, collaborating with the JICA Research Institute. But those of us in Japan probably have much more to learn from the JICA Research Institute than it could from us. But I'm a great believer in collaboration. Nearly all of my own personal research projects, and I continue to do research myself, nearly all of those are collaborative, because I always think I learn much more from those in these collaborative research projects than I would on my own.